Hey, Fred, I've added a new feature to my life.
A new feature? What are you talking about, Matt?
A laugh track, Fred. Now when I say something funny, or even slightly amusing, I get a laugh. By the way, that's a nice shirt you're wearing. You look good in lavender.
Where is that coming from? How can you do that? I can see this is going to be very irritating.
Sort of like seeds getting caught in your digestive tract, huh, Fred?
Hey, does it work when I say something funny?
I'm not sure. Try it, Fred.
How do you make an egg laugh? Tell it a yolk.
I guess not.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy. People, let me tell you about him. He's so much fun. Whether we're talking man to man or whether we're talking sun to sun, 'cause he's my best friend. Yeah, he's my best friend. La la, ba da 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 da, yeah, ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da, yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Banter. I'm Matt Peaslee.
And I'm Fred Rossano.
Yeah, Fred, the season is quickly coming to an end here. We're in the last month here in September. Playoff chase is still on. Pennant race is still on. Pirates still have a chance, and they have been looking a little bit better. They lost 7 in a row out there at the end of August, and they bounced back, win 7 out of 9, but they kind of have been giving some games away recently.
I mean, you can't win them all, but the last couple games were kind of tough. We gave up, could have had another sweep, which they've had a tough time doing
against the weekend.
The Reds. Chris
Heisey, 2 home runs.
2 home runs in that game, and then the game against the Cardinals where they had a 3-0 lead and then a 4-2 lead, and then Garrett Cole
gives up home run. And the bullpen just is not playing at all. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about all year, is that the bullpen isn't performing like they did last year, and they've really just fallen off.
Their starting pitching has really been strong. Up until yesterday's game against the Cardinals there with Cole, I think they had like 5 or 6 straight solid performances where they gave up less than 3 runs, I think. Yeah. But again, like you said, the bullpen has been letting them down.
And because the offense has been there too, they've definitely scored enough runs to build a lead early, build a lead at the end.
Yeah, but today I think they've been questionable too. Yeah. The 3-run homer, they've scored a lot of runs early, and then they've
leave runners on base.
Yeah, a lot of runners on base. And yesterday was a good example of that too against the Cardinals. Just too many. I think there were 1 for 10 or 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The problem with the games now, and I know I said before that you got to beat the teams in your own division, especially now since the Brewers have really fallen on hard times, because it counts as 2 games. Yeah. If they would have won the game yesterday, they would have been.
They pick up.
They would have been 1 game behind, and the Brewers and the Cardinals would have been tied. Yeah. They would have been 1 game behind from first place. But that's the way it goes, and we'll see how it goes over the next couple games against the Cardinals. The Cardinals just seem to have that knack of playing good when the going gets tough. And I think I just read somewhere where they have since 2011 or 2012, they have the best record in baseball in September.
Yeah, and it shows.
So either they're lucky or they're good, or a combination of both.
Yeah, and it's the experience of playing well in September, making it to October, and having good playoff runs over the past couple of years, going to the World Series, winning a World Series, and competing every year. You always expect the Cardinals to do that, and they've had their struggles too with Justin Masterson, that pitcher they acquired. He's been stinking for them, and they're putting him in the bullpen. So they're not the perfect team, and it would be nice to catch them for these last 2 games to close out the series, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not something too. The rosters are expanding a little bit. We get Gregory Polanco back after he was sent down for about a week there.
Kind of and they wound up bringing up Lambeau and putting him out,
and he's
in left
been
field.
Performing well.
Yeah, he had a big hit. Was it Friday night?
Yeah.
Friday night, I believe it was.
And I think he got a double yesterday. Drove in a run, so he's been hitting. And I was reading something too where he was going to be the starting first baseman coming out of spring training, but he just stunk in spring training.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was. I don't know what the problem was there. Whether it was then he got injured.
Yeah.
They said they were ready to bring him up, and he got injured, and he was out for another month or so. And then
they said a reason why he might have struggled there in spring training is because he played like a full season of winter ball for the first time ever. So he could have just been tired coming into spring training, which could explain it. Because I know he did get hurt there in AAA Indianapolis, but he performed well enough to eventually earn a spot, and he's got that now, and he could be a key piece for the September run if we get to throw him out there occasionally. But we're still overloaded at first base with Gabby, Ike, and Pedro's been kind of hurt too. But if he ever comes back, he'll be a first baseman. But yeah, Lambeau filled in pretty nicely for Polanco while he was trying to work on some things in AAA for a week.
Hopefully, they didn't really add a whole lot. I think there were a couple stories that said there could be some surprises. I don't know what those surprises were. You pretty much knew that Tony Sanchez was going to be brought up, and like you said, Polanco. And who else had been brought?
I honestly haven't.
I don't think. Well, I think that tomorrow is the day, because I think today's the last day that Indianapolis plays.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. Again, like we said before, part of the fun of it is, as long as you're in a pennant race, you never know what's going to happen. How many times have we said? How many times have fans have said, "Oh, this is it. They're done now. They lost 7 in a row,"
That's
and then
not
they
true.
come back and the Brewers have lost 6, and they were that close of being one game behind first place there, when we were assuming that they were just going to be going for a wild card. So you really don't know what's going on, what's going to happen, and that's part of the fun of it. It makes you, especially when you play that many one-run games.
Right. Yeah, they've been in a lot of
nerve-wracking, but at the same time, obviously you'd rather have that than being 20 games under 500. But
yeah, we've had a lot of years when we're 20 games under 500, but these past couple seasons have been fun because it is meaningful baseball in September. Yep.
Maybe we'll see next time we're on Bucco Banter. Maybe we'll be saying, "Wow, do you believe that? They're already in first place now."
Could happen. Tune in next time, but there's still plenty of Bucco Banter left to come. Fred, our next segment is Bucco Banter Show and Tell. And we always have our array of stuff on our desk to show off each week, and looks like you got something for us this week.
Yes, I do. I have a Manny Sanguillen bobblehead. I think you brought the Honus Wagner last week. This one's a little bit older. This one's from 2003.
Yeah.
And this one was given to me by the former sports editor here, Patrick Myers, upon his departure. And you can see poor Manny has a couple chips off his helmet. Yeah. But I collected a lot of these bobbleheads over the years. But keep this one on my desk all the time. But they're fun. I know people a lot of times mock them and saying it. But they're kind of neat to put up on your at home there, whatever, in your room.
On my desk, and got a lot at home too. And Manny Sanguillen's a really important part of Pirates history.
Oh yeah, sure was. Got the big hit. Remember in '79 World Series? I think when they brought him back after he was traded for Chuck Tanner.
Yeah, to the A's. Was it to the A's?
Yeah, they traded him to the A's, and they got him back, and he wound up with a clutch hit. He didn't really do too much that season, but he wound up getting a real big hit. I think in that 7th game to help them win the World Series.
And you can still see him at PNC Park at Manny's Barbecue.
That's right. You can see the smoke out in the outfield. Yeah. That's Manny's Barbecue. But an all-around good guy, Manny Sanguillen.
Can't beat that smile.
Ask the experts. Ask the experts. Ask the experts. Ask the experts.
And it is time once again for Ask the Experts. Unfortunately, Matt, we have some more distressing news regarding the hat that we use to place the questions in. We are still unable to find it. It is allegedly lost.
These signs have been placed all around the tri-state area, Weirton, Steubenville, Pittsburgh. Please, viewers, do anything you can to help us in this distressing situation. There's a hotline at the bottom of your screen to call with any information regarding our hat. In the meantime, we need somebody's help.
In the meantime, we will have the Pirate Panda deliver the questions.
Thank you, Pirate Panda.
You are welcome.
Fred, this question is
question number 1.
Are you surprised the Pirates did not make any moves at the waiver deadline as they did last year in acquiring Justin Morneau and Marlon Byrd, sent in by Fred S. of Newcastle?
I was kind of surprised. I think it wasn't without trying. Huntington has said that he tried his best, and sometimes just trades don't materialize for either the players or the teams or whatever it is. And we discussed this the last time. It doesn't always work the way you want it to. And I think last year, we were kind of lucky to get those 2 players.
Yeah.
They were 2 key ingredients of us going into the stretch run there. This year, it didn't happen. We'll go with it. See what happens. They still might make the playoffs despite that. It hasn't really helped the Tigers and the A's yet. They made 2 of the bigger trades. The A's made 2 huge trades. In fact, they've regressed.
Yeah, they're not even in first place anymore.
No, they're like 4 games behind the Angels. But sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. And I think another thing was this year, I think it was more clear-cut last year what areas that we needed help in. It was first base and the outfield.
Yeah. Now we have those players.
Now we have those players, it wasn't – it was a little bit of a lot of things that we were not doing real well in.
Question number 2. Thanks, Panda.
You're welcome.
If the Pirates fail to make the playoffs, what part of the team do you think let them down the most? Sent in by Brian from Fallensby.
Ooh, that's another tough question because it sort of goes with the other. They've had a little bit of problems with, again, first base, right field, the relief pitching, and the starting pitching. And their defense has been suspect from time to time. And the what we were talking about earlier, the hitting with runners in scoring position has sometimes been lacking. But I mean, you try to look at it from the standpoint of what may have if the guy is asking a question of what area. I think it's a little bit of a lot of areas of.
I'd still say the bullpen.
More recently, it's been the bullpen that's caused them. They're studs in the bullpen that all year long, like Watson, who's always can count on him. But again, this is toward the end of the year. These guys start to wear down. You can't pitch them night after night, even when they warm up and don't come in. They're still
getting some action.
Yeah, they're still getting some action.
Well, Panda's going to pick out 2 that I'll ask
2 more
you.
questions.
All right. You asked me this one. Yeah, that's it.
That's right. We're confused because we don't have the hat. If the Pirates do not make the playoffs, do you believe it is because they did not make a trade? Maz of Yorkville. I wonder if it's Bill Mazeroski.
Could be. Yeah. That's a good question, though. Honestly, no. I don't. I mean, like we were talking about, the A's make a big trade. They've regressed from that. David Price hasn't pitched well for the Tigers. Cespedes went to the Red Sox, and they were out of it to begin with. I don't think putting in another body would have helped them.
Well, even though the A's, now that they traded Cespedes, that was part of the thing when they were saying about the Pirates maybe should have traded Starling Marte. It's very tricky to trade a starter in your lineup. That's why they said now that they got Adam Dunn.
To kind of fill in that power production that Cespedes wasn't there.
So, what have you gained? Plus, the fact you may have lost Lester if he signs with somebody else at the end of the year. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a risky thing. Sometimes you hit it right, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. They say no move is the best move, and maybe that was the case for the Pirates. And instead of making it, they acquired John Axford, who kind of hurt the Pirates against the Cardinals the other day. But he's. Yeah, I don't think if they would have made a big blockbuster splash like that, and I mean, obviously they would have had to give up a Marte or somebody in the starting lineup because that's what those teams wanted. I think they were fine staying pat.
Pick out one.
Okay, we'll go with this one. Last question. We'll save that one for next week.
What do you see as the biggest difference between this year's team and the 2013 team, Buck of Wheeling?
Again, I mean, we always go back to the bullpen, and that's definitely the glaring difference is the Pirates had a solid bullpen, one of the best in the league last year. I think they were, out of all the baseball, they were like the second ranked bullpen in
I think
all baseball.
Actually, I think this year it's one of the worst for blowing saves.
And I mean, Melanson hasn't been himself. Watson hasn't been himself. Jared Hughes, it seems like Sunday against the Reds, he had that really solid inning, sent him down 1-2-3. They put him out for another there in the eighth, and he gives up the home run that ends up losing it to him. And again, you can kind of question Hurdle's decision to leave him out there, but I think if he's cruising through one, leave him out there.
You can't pitch these guys every day. You got to give them some rest. Yeah. If your starters don't go 6 or 7 innings every night, then you're just going to your bullpen, and that's I think what the problem was. If the guy's asking a question previous to that, like 2012, that was one of the work. The starting staff did not do its job, which wears down the bullpen,
right.
And then you're done. You can't recover from that once your bullpen is so exhausted that they can't keep coming back. And I know Hurdle's tried to balance it as much as he can, but it's difficult when you keep having to come into the 8th, the 9th inning every night.
Yeah, and there's just so much confidence last year when you had Melanson setting up and Grilly saving it off, and now you don't know who really wants the ball there. I mean, they try to still schedule it inning by inning with what pitchers they want where, but it's still tough when you have a lead and you get to the back end of that bullpen. Yeah. It's not. Well,
you look at some of the other teams, even that Rosenthal
for the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals, he's had several blown saves, and the guy for the Brewers there, what is it, Rodriguez?
Francisco Rodriguez.
He's had several blown saves over the past.
No, they're not going to be perfect.
You get tired. It's September. You get tired.
Yeah, but we're not tired of our Pirates just yet. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played.
They're in
it, and we're going to stay with you the entire way the rest of the season. Check out Bucco Banter. Send us your questions because we still are inching for Bucktober once again.
Bucktober. That's what we play for. Bucktober. Tune in next week.
You stay classy.
See you next time on Bucco Banter. Good. H2O. If anyone has seen the hat, please return it to us. No questions asked, and there'll be a $1 reward for any information regarding it, or if you just want to return it. And if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a address and phone number you can contact as like a sort of a hotline. We are unable to find it. And we are looking for anybody that can help us find the hat. And we're giving... Weren't you going to say something?
No, you're going to say, I'm looking somber. This is all you.
Well, you just told me to say something else.
I really like the dramatic